A quick content note here before we begin this episode of What Am I Rolling? This episode's one-shot, Koriko, A Magical Year, is a journaling game aimed at telling a fun, coming-of-age story with light-hearted and tender moments. However, the idea of a young teenager travelling to a strange city alone can be fraught with safety issues, and there are some themes which occur regularly in this game that are worth mentioning at the top. Possible themes for this story include parental expectations and control, loneliness, especially from moving somewhere new, peer pressure and media harassment, and infrequent physical or emotional harm. So, if you're not in the right headspace just now, please feel free to stop listening and come back if or when you're ready. Thanks again, and stay safe, my friends. And welcome to What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This is part 3 of our Koriko A Magical Year one-shot, so make sure you listen to the first 2 parts before continuing on with this episode. So here's how Koriko works. This story is told in 6 sections, or volumes, each taking an hour or 2 of time. To begin play, players will need the book, a deck of tarot cards, and a stack of dice. They'll also need a journal to write their story in, either a physical notebook or a digital Word document. The player starts by creating their witch and their home village, before whisking them away on their journey to Koriko. Now, this city is a place of the player's own invention. It might be a charming seaside resort, a smog-choked metropolis, a palace in the clouds, whatever they can imagine. With their version of Koriko established, the player's witch can then explore and meet the city's weird and wonderful residents. To do this, the player will draw cards, each relating to a prompt that introduces a new event to the story. These prompts are a chance to exercise the player's creative writing muscles. And when things get risky, they'll add dice to an increasingly precarious stack. At the end of each volume, the player pauses to reflect, spending time resting before writing a letter home to their witch's mentor. Then, perhaps after a break, the player will move on to the next volume of events and ephemera, being guided through the gentle rhythms of the year. Finally, as winter draws to a close at the end of their witch's year in the city, the player must make their biggest decision yet. Will they stay in Koriko to remain the city's resident witch, or leave, back home or off to pastures new? And that's it. That's all you need to know up top before beginning Koriko. I'll go over the various rules and mechanics as a reminder when they come up in the story. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players and myself, well, mostly myself for this one, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. So, with all that out of the way, let's play Koriko. Okay, let's go straight into it. Let's go to Volume 3, Spring. Okay, looking at the setup. What do we have to do to set up our volume deck? When you set intentions, create your volume deck. And here it says the instructions are: choose 2 suits and add 2 cards from each. Then add 1 card from each of the other 2 suits. And then add 2, 3, or 4 confidants from your circle. The more confidants you add, the less time you have for anything else. So we had a load of confidants in the last, in the arrival. So I feel like we don't need to maybe add all 4 of them. I'm going to make a conscious decision and only take 2 for the confidence one. But let's just have a look at the suits. The suit decks, just as a recap, so we have wands, cups, swords, and coins, and they're laid out in that order. Wands is ambition and expression, cups is community and tradition, swords is influence and conflict, and coins is work and wealth. So I think I'll definitely take something from swords just to balance it out, and so that's influence and conflict. Okay, I think I'm going to go take 2 from swords and 2 from coins. I think that's what we'll do, so we'll do that now. Okay, so that's 2 swords and 2 coins. And therefore, I will need 1 from wands and 1 from cups. Alright, and then confidence. So I have 4 cards on confidence. I'm just checking, because I just put them in a random order at the end of last session. I can't just necessarily pick them, so I'm just going to shuffle them. And I'm just going to pick 2 at random and then put them in the deck. So we know for at least we will have 2. And I'm going to set my attention. I really hope the magician is in here, because I want to find out more about them. I think Harper from Sweet Treats would also be interesting. I think Aaliyah would be fun, and obviously the lovers would be fun, but I really want the magician. I think that was just such an interesting one, so I'm just going to pick randomly. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to pick this one. All right. That is the deck done. That's the deck drawn, and then we shuffle them together. So I've got 8 cards in this deck. I'm only going to pull 7. And let's look at the twists. What have we got in terms of twists for this one? You see, it's a similar 4x4 grid with the risky ones almost as the diagonals. So in terms of twists, we've got a new approach, risky, first of the season, tender beginning, the winds of change, also risky, and then your reflection in the glass, running rampant, which is risky, your worst fear, risky, spring cleaning, then precious party, best left buried, which is risky, sudden downpour, the way they talk, it hurts to watch, which is risky, waiting for sunshine, what you won't reveal, and the old ways, which is risky. So the bonuses for this particular volume are Special Confidant. Take the Major Arcana card for the world and place it on the top of your volume deck. Draw 1 extra card this volume. And then it says, additional hangout. Choose a confident card from your circle and place it on top of your volume deck. Draw 1 extra card this volume. So basically we get an extra prompt. Man, I want to know what the world is. I think I want to aim for that. And so in order to do that, I need to complete either a row or column, which will involve at least 2 risky things. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything else is set up in my journal. I'm ready to write. I did a little bit of upkeep with the index, so I've got the arrival all put down. And yeah. So, presumably I'm aiming for 7 entries, but possibly 8, which is going to be a bonus confident one if I get it. And I also shall say, currently in my risky dice tower, I have 3 dice from last time. So, we'll see how that goes. Lessons-wise, I've got 2 in power, 2 in care, and 1 in law, nothing in craft. And then we've got quite a whole host of things for our themes and our tones, that's it, of the cities, which I quite like. I'm going to pull the first card, so this is our first entry. Interesting. King of Cups. King of Cups. Oh no, this entry is already risky. A local area is under threat and collective action is needed. The community leader has retreated into inaction. Why are they afraid to take a stand? How do you give them the push they need? And here we have some suggestions. As always, it says crumbling homes, outside investors, persuasive cult, unquiet ancestors. And now we choose the twist as well. It's already risky, so I'm gonna have to do something with dice anyway. So I don't want to make it doubly risky. I'm guessing you can't double up on the risk. I assume not. And for the risk, I need to use either care or law. I've got 1 law, so that'll make it a little bit easier. But nothing in care. Okay. Let me think. What do I want to do for this? I think I'm going to take the twist spring cleaning. And I like the suggestion of the unquiet ancestors. I think coming off that back of that last encounter, hearing those things in the night that were laughing, cackling in some way. I think there's been like reports from the local temple, the local let's go for temple. Yeah, local temple, where there has been questions about certain services that haven't been performed in such a long time. Spring has come, this idea of cleaning out, getting anew, things are starting, lambs are lambing, all the usuals. And the temple leader, the guide, we'll call them the guide, they are struggling to perform these tasks and clean up because the community has dwindled. The interest in religious or spiritual methods has sort of died over the years, died down a little bit. And so there's only like a handful of members. And so maybe they are disheartened as a result. Maybe there's talk of the temple being shut down, being repurposed. It's a very busy city. It's, very crammed in with lots of different buildings and stuff needing to be repurposed, and nobody's using this place. There's a small community around this who you insist that this is their home, this is where they go to practice and to reflect and to teach, to give up offerings to the deities that they see. There's that sort of idea of like a little mini, maybe it's like one of those things where it's every single day is a mini festival, a mini reflection in some way, like the sort of 72 seasons in the UK. That's what I imagine, is that every couple of days it's like, this is the season of wintry winds and clean sheets, that sort of vibe. And I think the guide has struggled because they don't know what to do. They've tried everything and now they're just disheartened and demotivated. They're afraid to take a stand because what if nobody comes? What if nobody comes to save the temple? To save the space that has provided comfort and care and protection to many people over the years, but yeah. How do I give them the push they need? Let's go with the tea theme, shall we? I reckon what happens is that I am delivering supplies. Maybe they have a local order of from the tea shop. And I see that they are struggling and there are not many people and they have flyers, but they're out of date and whatnot. They are kind of at a loss of what to do, this guide. How do I give them the push they need? I think I make little flyers. I think the word hasn't got out to the right people because people have just forgotten. People get busy with their lives. So I think what I do is I create little leaflets and posters that talk about, save the temple, save this little district of home. And maybe I ask around for photos and pictures, and I get sort of sent these illustrations, these images of people's weddings, people's baptisms, their funerals, naming ceremonies, confirmation, that sort of thing, where a sense of lightness. And maybe I take these images and with the tiniest little bit of magic I sort of seem alive and sort of project them onto the walls of the temple and encourage people to come for a late night vigil for the last night in this possible temple before it is taken away and repurposed into something that it's not supposed to be. Okay, so it's risky. I think I've made a case for it to be law, to use the skill in law. So let me just check how many law lessons I have. I think I've got 1. Yes, 1 in there. Oh my god, it's still stacking 3 dice. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to stack them now then. 1. 2. Oh, God, the last one. Come on. 3. Oh, almost. Oh, we succeed. Amazing. Oh, I feel so bloody good. We get to, we succeed at what we're doing, and we can write a new lesson under the skill that captures our success. Amazing. Okay, so I think what happens is that people do come. People come and celebrate, and even though it's the last night in the temple, the guide sees the community rally around and realizes that maybe all is not lost, and they are able to give their sort of final sermon and give out each individual blessing to people as they make their way out and shut the doors for the final time. Yes! Amazing. So I helped the guide perform the final funeral rites and blessings on the temple as it closed its doors for the last time. Spring is finally here, but some sad news has come to my door. The local temple, the one of the Lady of Faith, has been given its notice and is closing its doors for good. I actually hadn't known it existed if it wasn't for my errands, going to and fro delivering various parcels and teas, all to the locals. The guide there seemed sad and distraught, but also down, at a loss of what else they could do. It was clear they had tried everything to increase their numbers and regular attendance, but it was as if the people had forgotten. I decided to help. I felt kind of bad, and I rounded up a whole group of locals from the community to come and turn out for one final time. I helped organise a midnight vigil to say thank you to the building and preserve the memory of it as a core part of the community. The guide was kind of taken aback about the outpouring of love, but they were thankful, and in fact invited me to do the final passage rite together on the steps. And we were the last folks to leave, locking the door behind us. The smell of the sweet incense is still in my hair and clothes many days afterwards. It was nice. I just hope the community rallies around the guide and offers some more support in the future, just as the temple offered its support all these years. Alright, next one, second entry for spring, is the Two of Swords. Two of Swords. You overhear an argument between two strong personalities. What are they fighting about? They draw you in, seeking an arbitrator. Do you offer a verdict? Either way, who do you feel is right? And then there are some suggestions like local government, rival schools, moral principles, fashions, rules. Okay, and what's the twist going to be? What do we think? We've done spring cleaning. I kind of do want to get the world, if we can get it. I mean, the worst fear is having to pick a side. Maybe this is a real big test for me. And that's risky. The winds of change is also risky. The way they talk. The old ways. Rampant. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go for another non-risky one. I'm going to go for the way they talk. I think this makes sense with the argument sort of theme that the prompt has. Okay, it's not risky. I've not completed anything. So we just write this. We just go with it. Okay. Two of Swords. There's an argument. Two strong personalities. Maybe. I don't remember if I've said it canonly that I can't read. I assumed I couldn't. I think I can read, right? I'm trying to think. There's this thing about the book. The pink book, right? Everyone has this book. Hang on, let me go back through my notes. A bright pink cover with a bee on it. There we go. I wonder, maybe I have seen... No, I overheard two students talking about their interpretation of this pink book with a bee on it that everyone seems to be reading. It's like the hottest book of the moment. And one of them argues that it is about setting a standard for the lives of now, whereas one is it saying it's a warning. One is saying that it was something that we should look to. Both of them, no, that's it. Both of them are saying that it's something we should look at and look to, but one is saying that we should uphold it, and one says that we should be beware of it. And these two students, they look kind of fancy with their fancy clothes, and they're arguing outside of the tea shop, whilst I'm sort of people watching and I'm sort of reading through my own little notes, planning my day. It's a man and a woman. They look fairly important. Like, they look like, school outfits, and maybe like even like prefects. You got little badges on them. And they turn around, like, I think they've stopped in front of me, and I'm just there like, oh God. Like, they're very intense at it. They're not shouting at you, but they're very passionate. And I think Spinel chirps. I don't know if moths chirp, but he goes at one point, and then they both look at me, and I go, and I do very much the anime like, as they both perceive me, and they go, brilliant, someone that can talk to us about it. And I go, and he goes, so you have read the Pink Bee book. What, who do you think is right? Like, is it something, a standard that we should aspire to live our lives by, a moral code, or is it one that we should be avoiding, something that, and they're talking about it, but they're not actually describing what's in the book. So I go, and they go, come on, you must have some idea. Everyone's read it. And I go, I haven't. I've not read it. I don't have a copy. And both of them look aghast at this. And suddenly this heated gaze, I really feel it. And the way they are sort of like, they instantly judge that I've not read it, and I suddenly feel really ashamed. And they go, sorry for wasting your time. And they kind of shuffle off awkwardly. And I look around, and other people avert their gaze. Those people who had been sort of rubbernecking to look into this particular scenario, this incident. And I feel confused and worried. And I mean, I always feel like thinking about what happened at the temple, and that people are allowed to change, and we shouldn't live our lives by one scripture or one thing, one book saying things, because these things change. People change, life changes. That's why Foxglove and I, when we're out in doing our studies, we follow the teachings and philosophies of nature and what the world is saying to us. And the world is always saying different things, and it's allowed for different interpretations of stuff. So who do I feel is right? I feel like we shouldn't hold on to such scripture or such philosophy, like, and just ascribe it wholeheartedly. We should question, we should criticize and critique. That's just my gut instinct, but then I haven't read it, so I feel kind of like at a loss. And just sit there with the dregs of my tea as I see these two students hurry off, whispering. If anything, my confusion and sudden admittance that I've not read it has stopped the argument, so I've ticked for that, but has also drawn a bit of a... Well, there's a bit of a cloud over things now. And if anything, they've started arguing, so they're actually put on the same team. That at least they've read it, and they can discuss it enthusiastically. Like I said, I don't think it's an argument in the sense of like, you're wrong, I'm right, aggressiveness. It is just passion. And it makes me weird. And so maybe the next couple of days I force myself to try and find a copy of this pink cover book with a bee on it, because I don't want to be missing out. Heck it. I have been looking for this damn ridiculous pink book with a bee on it all day. I need to find find out what's in it. I had this really weird exchange with two pupils from the local school outside the tea room this morning. I think they were prefects. They were arguing over their personal interpretations of the book and what its message was. One said it was something that people should aspire to, lead their life by, whilst the other kept insisting that it was a warning that we should deeply avoid. They ended up asking me for my thoughts. I think I was just wrong place, wrong time. And I froze. I eventually stammered. I confess I didn't have a copy, and I hadn't actually read it. And before I could continue further, they gave each other this really awkward look and then apologised for wasting my time and then hurried away, muttering under their breaths. I mean, I would have said that just sticking to one book, which can come out of date, which guides your life, is maybe silly if such a book is open to lots of different interpretations, conflicting interpretations, and could be misinterpreted. I'm very intrigued. I need to know what's inside this book. Third entry. The Queen of Coins. Interesting. A young person comes to you for advice. What are they struggling with? Why did they believe you have all the answers? You know that your words will have a big impact. How do you handle the responsibility? Ooh, okay. We have Sorcerer's Secrets, Bold Ambition, Hopeless Romantic, Cold Tradition. Now, so here's the thing. I've got 6 dice already stacked up. And I want to take a risky one so I can knock that off and get closer to having the bonus. And so the choice I have is sort of Winds of Change, the Old Ways, in order to complete that particular column. And then I've got Your Reflection in the Glass, Running Rampant, Worst Fear, if I want to go the other way. I've got loads of others as well. But I feel like Winds of Chains are probably the best one, and that's going to be risky to do. It is risky. So I have to stack dice. Now it says I can use craft or care skills here. I have 2 in care. And craft probably doesn't make any sense. I don't have anything in craft still. Kindness, intuition, and healing, that's care. So I think I want to go for care, and then if I do succeed, I can at least put another lesson under it. So it'll be less dice to stack in future. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use care. So I've got to stack 3 onto the 6, so I've got to make it to 9. I don't know if I'm going to do that. It already looks wobbly as heck. But we'll see. I've got my decent sized dice out, so I'm going to do 1. Just going to move it slightly without tipping it. Okay, 1. The thing is that my hands are super shaky just now. 2, okay. God, it looks like it's about to go. Oh, 3. Oh, it just did it. Okay, I've got 9 stacked dice now. Whew. All right, successful. We did it. We did the right thing. Okay. So we're successful in whatever the action is we're doing, and then we need to put a lesson underneath it. So, a young person came to talk to us. Let's think. What did they came to talk to us about? I'm going to go with the hopeless romance. I think what happens is that I'm opening up the shop. No, I am upstairs in the loft, and I am sort of setting up my business, like thinking about maybe taking like office hours or something like that. And when there's a big knock on the trap door leading up, and Leah sort of pops her head up and says, "There's a young girl waiting for you downstairs." She says it's urgent, and I'm sort of shocked. And this girl comes up into the loft. Looks like she's really red in the face, and she just starts talking about like how she needs me. She needs me to undo something. And she says, my magic, she knows I'm magical. She's seen me at the shop. She's heard about what I did helping around, and that, there's a new witch in town, and so I must be able to help her because magic's very powerful and I can undo stuff. I can reverse time. And I go, well, what are you talking about? And so I sit her down in like an old chair and I sort of brew us some drinks and I ask her to tell me what the problem is. And she sort of slowly goes through. You can tell that she's finding it really awkward to talk about it, but she told her crush she liked them and they did not reciprocate said crush. And she now wants to die as a result because it's, how could she be so silly? It was obvious that they didn't like her, and now she just wants to like curl up and die. Like her life is ruined because she admitted her feelings. And she sort of is like just angry and red. She's not crying. She's just like, I'm such an idiot. No one's going to take me seriously anymore and all that sort of thing. And she's like a young woman. She's like 17 or 18. So whatever this crush was huge. And I'm only like a teenager myself. And so I just hold her hand and squeeze it and say it's going to be okay. There will be another tomorrow. And she bursts into tears then. And I go through and I say, like, I talk about the changes of the moon and how that means our life paths, there's ebbs and flows to everything. And right now, the emotion that's running through her is a huge flow. It's like strong, it's intensely, it's coloring every part of what you're thinking about. And it must hurt. It hurts because you admitted something. You gave out a part of yourself, and it wasn't taken in the way you wanted it to. And it sucks. And you never want to, you want to take it back because maybe you didn't. It's because you're vulnerable. You want to take it back. You don't like being vulnerable. No one likes being vulnerable. And as a part of it too, is that sense of rejection. Is that they're rejecting you. They don't see you like that. And as hard as it might be, things get better and you move on through this, and there'll be plenty of other crushes that you'll admit, and they'll fail. We have to push through, and it's hard. And I'm sorry that they didn't see your gift. And I give them a notebook and I say, I want you to write down like a letter to this person about how you feel right now, and take your time. And they're sort of unsure, and then they start to write, and I give them like a good half an hour or so, and they write quite a number of pages, and there's lots of scribbling out. There's a little tear stain here and there. And then I take the book. Once they're finished, I take the book, I shut it, I don't read it, and I take her downstairs to Leah's sort of big living room, big living space, and there's a fireplace there. And I give her back the notebook, still closed, and I say, I want you to destroy that letter. You've written all your feelings down, it's there, no one else is going to see it. No, I'm not reading it. You've got it all out on paper. You can choose to keep it, or you can choose to free yourself and throw it into the fire. And it's up to you. And this person looks down at the notebook in their hands, and they open it and tear a single page out, the first page out, scrunch it up into a ball, and then throw it into the fire. The fire greedily eats it up in seconds, and there's just like a small wisp of smoke going up into the chimney. And she does it again and again and again with each individual paper. And you can see there's a change as more of the notebook diminishes. Maybe not the most eco-friendly way of getting rid of something, but the act of sacrifice, the act of intentionally letting go and destroying something. She looks happier as a result. I think back to when I first learned this particular ritual with Foxglove about putting down those feelings of disappointment or anger or frustration or feelings of hurt, the negative feelings, the cringe feelings, I guess, into a book, into a space that only you will read. Foxglove called it morning pages. I never did them in the morning. But just the idea of like putting them somewhere where no one else can see, reflect upon it, and then choosing to destroy it is an act. When she leaves, she sort of shakes my hand and says thank you. And I don't ask for payment or anything like that. Clearly she was somebody in need. But as soon as she leaves, I do a big sigh. Because I don't know anything of this. I'm kind of at a loss. I've never had to deal with somebody who had all their hopes and dreams pinned on one thing. And it failed, and it was horrible to see. It was horrible to see someone like that. Because all you wanted to do was help them, but I don't know. I don't know if I did it right or if it felt right. And I just hope she's okay. Like, I hope she can hold her head high. You know, it's going to be awkward with the crush around and stuff, but I feel good that I've helped, but that was... I think back to me being here and how I put all the feelings in one basket for myself and be like, this is it. I want to be here. And I suddenly am like, oh God, seeing the outside of it. It's realizing that maybe this is a bigger undertaking than I thought. Because not only am I just, delivering various bits and pieces to people are relying on me to give them hope. And I don't know if that was the right thing. It was a risk. It was a big risk. Everything could have fallen down around us. Had my first customer in the loft today. A young woman asked to see the witch that lived in the attic and said it was urgent that she see me. I was in the middle of planning my weekly schedule and considering what my office hours would be when she just came in all in a rush, red in the face. She was blabbering on about how she needed to get a time reversal spell to take her back before she admitted her love for her crush and it being rejected. She was adamant that I must be able to do such magic, because why would a witch not be able to do such things? Rather than outwardly say, no, are you bonkers, I decided a different kind of tact, and one that Foxglove taught me, about just sitting with the feelings for a moment and then reflecting and writing on them. Putting them all down in a notebook, which then you could decide to hide away or to burn, to signify releasing from them. It took a lot of convincing, and I honestly wasn't sure if it was going to work. She seemed quite upset, but the lady did do it and seemed a lot happier. After she left, I wondered if I might have had the same sort of feelings when I left home and came to Koriko. Here is suddenly everything I wanted, but it's not what I think I wanted, and it's overwhelming. More overwhelming than I could imagine. I remember feeling that all I really wanted was an adult or just somebody to just take care of me, and now I turn out to be that person for this other person, for this customer. I just guess the shock of it, and just suddenly realizing I've been in both places now made me pause. This level of responsibility for other people's feelings is a lot. I'm going to write, because I succeeded, I can write a lesson. I'm going to write it in care, because that's what I used, and I'm going to say, I helped a young woman sit with her feelings and overcome the embarrassment of admitting your feelings for your crush. Perfect. Done. Entry number 4. Oh, the Empress is back. I've just pulled the Empress. Now, the Empress, that was a sweet treats person, wasn't it? Sweet treats. Yes, Harper. Gourmet chocolates. Okay, so this is going to be our first hangout with the Empress. Oh, I'm really excited. Okay, Empress. And so it says, a gift. They show you their finest wares. Why does one item in particular capture your attention? How do you react when they insist you have it? And then it says, fine embroidery, heartfelt epigraph, unique joinery, famous autograph. I don't know what an epigraph is. Let me look that up. An epigraph is an inscription on a building, statue, or coin. A short quotation or saying at the beginning of a book or chapter intended to suggest its theme. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's go for the epigraph suggestion. Okay. And of course I need to pick a twist as well. Now. Oh, okay. So I am going to pick the old ways, and that will cross off the complication. So the old ways, and this is risky. So this is risky first. Yeah, I'm going to pair the old ways with the Empress hangout. And this is risky. So I'll come to that in a second. So yes, in order to do that, I need to find the world card. And this is in my special cards here. Oh, here she is. Got her. And then I'm going to put her on top of the volume deck. And I draw one extra card this volume. Okay. So I'm going to draw 8 cards rather than 7. Oh, I'm excited for that one when that comes up. But anyway, so I've done that. And now it's risky. Okay, it's risky. It's got to do with the old ways. And then I need to... I use craft or law for this. I mean, it doesn't matter because I still don't have anything in craft. I have 2 in law. I think I'm going to... I mean, I really need to get something in craft. I like the idea of law and reading into the words of an epigraph. So, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pick. No, you know what? No, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna pick craft. Because I need to get something in there because I don't have anything there. So I need to add 3 more dice to currently my 9 dice tower. Now, I have a feeling. I know I've said this every time, but I do think the tower is going to fall because it's looking very precarious. So I'm going to put the first one on. I've got to do it one at a time as well. And I've got to make sure my hands don't... Oh god, they bloody shake so much. Oh, that fell. Only 2 of them fell. So great. I mean, it still failed. Okay, so the twist failed, unfortunately, which is a shame, but that's fine. I'm never going to get that 21 card one though. That's ridiculously high. Dice stacking. So what happens when I fail? Your witch fails at their task. They break a window, promise, or a heart. When the dice counter don't touch anything, count the most common result amongst the fallen dice, ignoring any still stacked. If there are any ties, pick the higher number, and then use this result on the consequence table to find out what happens. Okay, so I have only 2 dice fell, and I've got a 2 and a 5. So there's no common result there, so it's a tie between 2 and 5. I've got to pick the higher number, which is 5. And so now I've got to go to page 83 to find out what the consequence is of that. Which I'm not looking forward to. I haven't read this page, so I don't know what it's going to be. Failure in your story is not just exploding potions, broomstick nosedives, and broken windows, though you'll have your fair share of those too. Failure might mean you've broken a promise, left a bad impression on a group of strangers, or sullied an ancient tradition. It might mean you've let yourself down, given up on a long-cherished dream, or turned away from a friend in crisis. It can be the best teacher, or give someone else the opportunity to show you a better way of doing something. Failure can be momentous, earth-shattering, record-breaking stuff. It can also be small. A single tear, a cracked tile, an unkind word. And your successes can just be the same. If you're here, it's because your dice tower has collapsed. You should have counted the most common result amongst the fallen dice, picking the highest number if there's any ties. You're going to use that result on the table opposite to get a prompt to use in your journal entry, and perhaps some special instructions to follow. You've caused some damage, but fortunately nothing irreversible. Will it take hours, days, or weeks to fix? What small pleasure do you find in the work? Write a new experience under the skill you were using. Oh. Morning bird song, honest labour, simple progress, friendly neighbour. Well, clearly there's like a blue plaque. If we're thinking of epigraph, then Harper must have tried to give me like the sign or the thing for the shop, and I dropped it and it broke into like a couple of pieces, and I felt awful about it because she was trying to give it to me and I said no, I didn't need it, or something like that. It was some sort of like, maybe it was a shop motto or something, and I was like, no, it should be here, and she's like trying to give it to me, and I think I make her cry because it's like damaged and I feel awful about it. And my magic, I think, what's it called? Is that art of putting things back together with gold? Kintsugi? I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, like putting back the pieces back with like magic, and then like a little bit of soldering with like some sort of colourful like gel. I don't know if I probably don't have gold, but it's it's putting things back together. And I think it takes me a good week because I feel so bad about it. And I put it back, and I think with my magic, I probably put a little bit of like a little bit more of a shine to it, because maybe it was a bit old, the sign itself. And I want to say it like, I'm thinking of a blue plaque, but maybe it was like, did they say, I think it was their father that had the chocolate shop, Harper said. Maybe I can bring Harper's father into it. And it was like commemorating his first shop as his chocolatier, the Sweet Treats, and maybe it had a motto underneath it. Oh, how about this? Let life be sweet like a chocolate sweet. Let life be sweet like a chocolate. Life is sweeter than chocolate. Oh, life is sweeter with chocolate. I just had a Google for chocolate slogans. I think I'll use that one. There's also one that says love is bounded by chocolate. Oh wait, of course, because they do love letters. They do like beautiful love. Oh, of course, love is bounded by chocolate. That's the little motto on the epigraph. Great. So I tried to use craft. That's what it was. And then consequences. So I'm gonna say this now so I don't miss it. So for that new experience, I mended the Sweet Treats epigraph plaque, which celebrated the life and career of Harper's father, Lloyd. I stopped by Sweet Treats today to visit Harper and deliver some tea supplies. They offered to show me round the back room as they had unearthed a box of their father's possessions, Lloyd. She told me how much her father had inspired her when she was growing up, working late into the night on his different designs and customer orders. She pulled out a blue plaque, which said that this was the site of Sweet Treats, the original shop, and it was one of historical interests, and gave Lloyd an established, celebrated status. I admired it in my hands, turning it over and feeling the sort of metalwork. Suddenly, Harper said that I should have it, could help me with my dreams and inspire me to do more. I panicked, thinking back on the time reversal love customer from earlier, and said I couldn't. We tussled a little bit in order to give it to the other person, and then, I dropped it. I just saw it in slow motion, hurtling towards the floor, and then just crash and smash into so many pieces. Harper went quiet, and I could see she was a bit teary-eyed. The sound of that awful smash and then the silence afterwards was awful. When I recovered, I managed to pick up all the pieces, and it took a couple of hours, but I put it back together, mended it. My magic wasn't really made for this kind of thing, and I was a bit worried that I'd only make things worse. I didn't want to upset Harper even more. When the final piece clicked back into place and was sort of sewn shut, it was like the picture became whole again. It was oddly satisfying to work with it. The glue of the weave, being so careful to put it in place just exact. Spinel helped me a lot with the pieces. Harper quietly watched me work before getting up and making us a light supper. When I handed her the repaired plaque, she held it aloft for a moment, and then went and hung it on the wall by the entrance to the shop, the motto gleaming in the twilight of the moon. "Love is bonded by chocolate," it read. Harper gave me a small hug and whispered, "Thank you, pet," as we looked at it. And I'll put the Empress's card back into the circle. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. Oh, and then the final thing is that I can now clear off that rest of the tower and start again. That's good. God, that's so annoying. At least we know now. At least we know that that's the worst that could happen. There's a 6 on here as well, but that was pretty... I felt really bad about it. But it was quite a nice, challenge. It was quite a nice, failure. I feel like I like this failure compared to the failure that could have happened with the previous customer. Well, this is going to be our bonus one now. Entry, because I know which one this is. This is going to be the world. Shock horror. It's the world. It's our new confidant. Let's go find out what this means. Oh, amazing. The world is Koriko itself, the living embodiment of the city. For some reason, they have decided to reveal themselves to you. Will you carry out their strange requests? The world is a luminous presence. They are everywhere, everyone, and ephemeral. Oh, amazing. Let's do the little name things first. So, name, choose one, and pronouns. So we've got some examples here. We've got obviously Koriko, Kori, Corin, Little Rico, Everwake, Watcher, the city itself. I think Corinne works well. Or Corini. Corrine. And pronouns they, them. Form, choose one. So we have mostly human, talking animal, sunlit reflections, moonlit shadow. I'm going to go for moonlit shadows. I like the idea of a late night talk with them. Looks, choose 2. We've got glowing orbs, many eyes, serene expression, sharp teeth, golden hair, fractal patterns, quiet whispers, booming voice, iridescent skin, illuminated sigils, and extra limbs. I think fractal patterns and quiet whispers works well. And then styles, choose 2. We have unnerving nudity, plain robes, black suit, impeccable streetwear, all white everything, geometric makeup, laurel wreaths, soft halo, brass skulls, body glitter, and cigarettes. Oh, well, geometric makeup, because that goes well with the patterns. And... sorry, a laurel wreath. I like the laurel wreath idea. And then choose 3 tones and add to any section of the city map. Oh, how exciting. Okay. We've got things to add. We've got iconic buildings, ancient stones, liminal spaces, holy bones, worn mosaics, gold-filled cracks, wildlife havens, well-worn tracks, shifting fashions, wayward souls, chance encounters, ghost patrols. Oh, ghost patrol sounds fun. I definitely want liminal spaces, and I'm going to put that in wands next to glowing lanterns and curry houses. Liminal spaces, yeah, I like that, liminal spaces. I like the idea of worn mosaics, and maybe put that in coins next to the farmer's market and the blooming talents thing. I think that's quite cool. can imagine sort of warm patterns there. And then, gosh, I just want ghost patrols. But actually, I think chance encounters sounds fun. And I think I'm going to put that with swords. I'm going to put that with pristine streets, window displays, and handmade treats. I think chance encounters, because I've had a couple already, and I think that's pretty nifty. Like, it feels like Koriko is a space of, like, lots of things can happen if you choose it to. All right, what's our meeting? So, moving through the streets, you feel time slowing down around you. Are you all alone or surrounded by crowds? You hear a voice, strange yet familiar, utter a simple greeting. The world says hello. They ask for your opinions on the city. Do you share your true feelings? They avoid any questions about their intent or purpose. And what little task do they ask of you? They say, find a person, count the birds, draw a circle, learn these words. Ooh. Okay. I'd like to find a person. I think I know who I'd like to find. I don't know if that's possible, but let me go to my... Gotta pick something. I've got to pick a twist, as always. I've completed that column now. Ooh, I know. I'm going to pick your reflection in the glass as the twist. I think I'm on my way home. It's late at night. It's been a late day of working and doing all the errands and stuff, and I've just, I've been busying myself with little busy things. That sort of like, I don't want to think about stuff, and maybe the last couple of encounters of like thinking about what I want to do and what I want to be, and am I the right person? Is this going to all work out? I think that's on my mind, but I don't want to think about it too much, so I busy myself. And I was just about to put my key in the door, and I hear the hello, and I look around and I don't see anyone. And I go, hello? And I kind of worry because I wonder if, again, thinking back to those laughing shadows from before, it sounded different though. Like it said, strange but familiar. And I'm just like, hello? And they go, over here. And I look to where I think the voice is coming from, but it's coming from all around. And I go, come out, show yourself. What do you want? Scared a little bit. And they go, oh, no. Up here. And I look up to the moon. And it takes me a moment to focus a little bit. Because the moon itself is quite high. Like it's just above a building. But then the way that the shape of it and the position of it, suddenly the shadows and stuff coalesce, and I see like almost like a magic eye picture that there's a person stood there. It's sort of a long individual, possibly tall. Their face is the moon, and there are shadows upon it that show a smile. It's not scary or anything like that. It just looks like a simple face. And you could forgive if the shadows were sort of like clothing, or like maybe the way a sign shows like a little brooch that's on the lapel of this individual. I realise that the hello is like a whisper a little bit, and it's a familiar thing. And I sort of blink, and then suddenly the person comes out of that liminal space and is what I see. It's like a snapshot, but they are now my size, looking at me, seeing me. They hold out a hand that is made up of all these bits of building and road and environment, and they go, my name's Corin. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mabel. I've been watching you for some time. I sort of stammer and look around, and I can feel like this is not a usual encounter. I suddenly sort of realize, I think everything comes into a head, that I know that places like this, like big cities, groves in nature, shrines, they all have a spirit, or they all have a identity, a belonging, a feeling of cohesiveness, of collective conscious, if enough people will it. And here it is, it's standing in front of me, this Corinne character. And I sort of do a quick sort of bow, and I mutter a sort of a prayer of welcome. "Oh, no need for that, no need for that," they say. I take their hand and it's so cold. It's like taking nothing. It's like an empty void, but I feel my hand being shaken by something. They introduce themselves fully as the being that is known as Koriko, but wanted to introduce themselves officially to me, as they know I have some interesting business in their town, and I am an unusual person. They noticed my work not only with the temple, but also with sweet treats and the gallery and the run-in with the smiling, laughing shadows from before. They asked me, what do I think of the city? And I sort of stammer a little bit, because I'm just sort of bowled over by this entity, this little deity is talking to me. And I sort of say, yeah, it's great. I love it here. It's what I wanted. And I sort of fumble, and then I sort of suddenly come forth. It's the first time someone's actually asked me a question on a topic that I know something about, and I'm passionate about it. And I talk about how I've always longed to go somewhere, experience somewhere, and I had these dreams of tea and the spire that I see off into the distance. And as soon as I saw it, I knew this had to be the place. I do ramble for a long, long time as this person watches me, and they don't stop me or they don't encourage me. They just let me run my course of words. And I realise I've been speaking for too long, and I say, well, but truthfully, still finding my feet. And they sort of like smile, a little smile, and they bow their head and they say, good, that's great. And I suddenly realise I haven't asked them anything. So as I'm about to, they say, I wonder if you could do me a favour, Mabel. I say, yes, of course. Anything. Again, just panicking slightly, because who is this person and why are you asking of me? I am nobody. I'm like a witch in training. They hold out a letter, sealed, but there's no name on it. There's no address. It just has a seal on it. And they go, I hear you had a run-in with the person you identify as River. I would love it if you could give them this from me. Please don't read it. It is for their eyes only. The letter itself is cream-coloured parchment. It feels very stiff in my hands, and the seal is that of Koriko itself. A sort of blood-red colour with the symbol of the city sigil. I sort of go, yes, of course, I'll do that. I will. They smile. And I realise now why the voice feels so familiar and so strange. It's because it's my voice. I sort of, again, blink and the magic picture shifts a little bit. And I realise that I'm actually looking into the glass pane of the door. And this whole time, when I thought I'd turned around and see the liminal space and seen this individual coalesce, I've actually just been looking at myself, my own reflection. Speaking. The city has spoken through me. Corin has spoken through me. I wonder for a second, as time sort of snaps back to it, suddenly I hear the rumbling of the night cart picking up rubbish. I hear Alea sort of gently snoring in one of the upstairs rooms. And I wonder, did I just make it up? Did I just dream this? But I feel in my pocket the weight and the heft of this letter. I pull it out, and again, it is exactly as I saw. It's a very cleanly put together letter with a blood red seal of the city with no name upon it. I think I met the city itself tonight. They came to me as I was just about to enter the house. They introduced themselves as Corinne, and then asked me had I been enjoying myself inside their walls. I'll be honest, I was a bit tongue-tied. Why would a city want to call on me? They talked about my recent run-ins and experiences at the temple and sweet treats, so they've been watching everything I've been doing. I was, a whole mess. Excited, scared, worried, cringing a little bit at the stuff they were saying about me. But it was so cool. I didn't expect this. I might have gushed a little bit. God, I wish I was just more cool like them. They gave me a mission. I have to find River, the magic person, the magician, and give them this letter. It feels super important, like it's real quality paper. I wonder why Corinne asked me. It makes me wonder that they can't find River themselves, which makes me wonder how will I ever find them? Well, I'll certainly do my best. I need to at least say thank you for them helping me out that night when I first arrived. Okay, and then the world goes into my circle of confidants. I am so keen to look at all the hangouts and see what else, because that seems so much fun. That's very cool. Very, very cool. I like that a lot. Entry number 5. Oh, the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands. Oh, you visit the cheerless home of a local recluse. What arcane answers are you seeking from them? Why are they so guarded and withdrawn with you? Can you prove that you are worthy of their trust? And then it says, Devil's Bargain, Bitter Regrets, Rival Stalking, Outstanding Debts. Okay. And then the twist, let's see. Oh, well, the twist is definitely what you won't reveal. None of that is risky, so that's fine, so we don't need to build a tower or anything like that. 9 of Wands, interesting. I think I spend the next couple of days and weeks trying to find out about this magician. And I think some people point to this home, this recluse, of Son Trang, an older gentleman who is said to have a way of finding people, or like ways to follow people who maybe just don't want to be followed. I think maybe he was advertised as like a private investigator, but is retired now. And when I get to his house, all the windows are blocked up with like newspaper and like metal grating. And when I knock on the door, he doesn't open the door, and we have to talk through the letterbox of all places. Son Trang sort of talks about how he doesn't want people in his house. He's seen too many bad things happen to people, and he would never step foot in someone else's house. And then it got to the point where he just realized that it could happen to him easily. So he has stayed inside this whole time. I ask him if there are ways to track individuals who may or may not have be magic or anything like that. And I reveal to him that I am I have powers. I don't scare him or anything like that to prove who I am. And I think he definitely shrinks back a little bit from the door. He tells me to get away. He clearly there is some experience that he's had maybe with the previous witch, which I worry of. How can I prove you are worthy of their trust? I show him the letter with the city seal on it, explaining what happened, and I say, like, would the city or the individual that claims to be the city give me this? I actually send it through the letterbox. Now, easily he could rip it up or tear it apart, but he takes a moment and he studies it, and he realizes that I'm being truthful. I don't tell him about my own experience with River. I feel like the way he talks about how he was out late at night and following people to get information on them, this life that he lead, it feels like there's more stuff there. And I could talk about the laughing, smiling individuals, but I don't do that. I don't want to. I feel like I'm pushing my luck as it already is. I was pointed in the direction of Sun Trang's house, a local ex-private detective. He refused to let me in, saying he can't afford to be too careful, whatever that means, even though his investigation days are over. I asked him to help me find ways to find and track down River so I could deliver this letter. I explained my encounter with Corin, and only just about convinced him when I showed him the seal of the city through the letterbox. I could tell he wasn't fond of magic users. The way he spoke, the way he sort of held his breath at certain points. I feel like he might have had some run-ins with the previous witch in the past. It was a risky move, but I think he understood that I was being serious and I needed his help. He gave me some advice about tracking and a list of ingredients which would help me set up some wards so I wouldn't be hurt or followed myself in the future. I wondered if he was making some reference towards those creatures I saw that night, but I didn't want to push it. It's the magician! Yes! We got the magician! That's great. Oh, I am really happy with that. Oh, I feel so good. Yes, the magician. Yes, yes, yes. Well, I assume you just pick one, but I've been going in order, so I'm going to keep going in order. I'm going to go with the door. They lead you to a crooked door and open it to a dizzying view. What impossible place have they taken you to? Why is it special to them? And the suggestions it has is a field of flowers, crystal caves, cloud-born palace, crashing waves. I actually, as soon as it said a dizzying view, I instantly thought of the sky. And so I think clouds, a place in the clouds is exactly what I'm thinking of. And we need a twist as well. Let's go for... Again, I don't want to do any risky stuff. I want to keep it clean so that I might be okay for summer. I'm going to go for tender beginning. Tender beginning with this hangout. So, the door. The door. I think just building on that previous entry, I find them because my ward goes off. And now that I think about it, I think Sun Trang's methods make more sense. Why would I go looking for someone who doesn't want to be found when they found me the first time? And actually, maybe it is they're interested in me because I'm another magic user and I'm new to the city. So of course they'll be finding me rather than me finding them. And I think it's a week or so later. The ward I do, I put it on my own, like almost like perfume. I put it under the back of my chin, like, you know, underneath like the jawline, and on my wrists. And what it does, Sun Trang says to me, is that it allows me to see things that don't wish to be perceived. So for a couple of times, I've seen like, foxes and hares in the undergrowth, mice. I've seen bits and pieces in maybe cafes that I wouldn't go back to now. But as I go for like a long walk before the end of a day, I suddenly see them. I see River. And they are just sat on a bench, like watching. Like they've always been there. And I ignore them because my heart is beating incredibly fast. And then when I turn a corner, they're there again. But this time they are sat on the edge of a fountain that's playing up. I turn again and they are in a shop window. And you can tell that they're looking, coming closer and closer to me, but they're not moving at all. Almost like they're like a shop window dummy or a mannequin. To the point where they are just like stood next to a tree. And I can see that they're watching me. And I stop and I bend down low to tie my shoelace. And I whisper, "I have this for you." And I just plonk the letter on their shoe. And I say good evening. And I start to walk. My heart is in my chest because I was like, I've seen them. They couldn't fool me. And I turn the corner, I walk right into them. I fall back on my arse and I look up and they're holding the letter and they're reading it. Their face, like, I can't decipher it at all as they're clearly reading a much longer letter than I expected. When I try and focus on it, I can't read the writing at all. It's like the writing isn't even there. They fold up the letter and they put it inside a pocket in their cloak. And they look down at me sprawled on the ground. And they offer a hand to pick me up. And I take it. And I say, I also wanted to say thank you for helping me out the other night. I appreciated it. And they're a little taller than me, but they smile, nod, not speaking. You can see they're thinking of something. And I sort of just looking at them and I'm trying to like have details. And all I can see is their eyes and the hat they're wearing and the cloak, incredible cloak. It was really cool what you did with the lighter, with the lights, bring back the light to the street. That's very cool. I've never seen that kind of magic before. Thank you, they say. And it surprised me to hear them speak. Like, their mouth opens and they say words. I was not expecting it. They say, "Do you want to see something cool?" And they point behind me. And I look to the wall of an old building behind me, and on it there's a crudely drawn door, like in chalk. And on it there's an X, like in bright blue. It says X. And I go, "Oh, X marks the spot." They grab my hand and I just feel this thrill at the sort of skin-to-skin contact. Kind of bowled over by their forwardness. And they take me to the door. And they knock on it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And they look at me and motion for me to open it. And so I do. And as I open it, mist and cloud start to peel out through it onto the street itself. And I can't believe I'm looking at it, but it's like we're in the sky. We're on a cloud. Just a cloud layer that goes for miles and miles and miles. It takes my breath away. Before I know it, the person that I identified as River pulls me through. And we are stood on the top of a cloud. I quickly grasp my own cloak, worried that I might fall. I've never been this high before. I don't deliberately go too high in case the magic fades or something happens. And I see River just point and says, "Look, down there." And I see it all. I see Koriko, but I see the countryside. I see the country itself. The rolling hills, the white cliffs, the waves of the sea. And in the distance, even from this height, I can see the forest, I can see the trees, I can make out where I came from, my home village. I can see Gristhorpe. There are mountains in the distance, rivers I can see along there, but it's close to twilight a little bit, and I can just, it's a beautiful purple haze, like a pinky purple haze over things. And the lights twinkling from those little hamlets and villages of Koriko itself. I just gasp and sort of it's so beautiful. It's scary, terrifying to be so high up, but I'd never seen something like this before. And I feel so small when I look at it. River sits down, cross-legged, and I join them. We sit and we look down. I say, "This is incredible. How do you do that?" And they go, "Doors are easy to open. Doors can be opened one way or another. This was my first door," they say. My favourite view. It shows that I can go anywhere, anytime. "But you don't," I say. "You stay in Koriko." They nod. "Why?" I say. They don't answer. We sit in silence for a little bit until I realise it's quite cold where I am, and I look back and the door is still open. I have to go, but it was nice to see you again. I'd like to see you again. They don't say anything. I can't read their expression. I give them my newly printed witch card with my address on it. "So you don't have to keep following me, you can just come and ring the doorbell," I say. "If you ever have a problem." And then when they don't necessarily take it, I put it into their hand and then move the fingers around it before I turn and I go back through the door. And as I turn to look back, the door shuts softly behind me. Just a chalk drawing on the wall. But I know it's there. I found them. River. I did it. And wow, there must have been some seriously important things in that letter, as they showed me something incredible. They can make doors appear, doors that can take you to new places, anywhere. Even Foxglove can't do that. They took me to the clouds, and I'd never been so high before. I was a bit scared, but I saw everything. Koriko, the city, the sea, the mountains. I bet if I had my map, I could have pointed out Gristhorpe to them. I'm glad I was able to say thank you to them. I'd felt bad that I hadn't been able to do so. I had worried I would never find them, but now that I have, and hopefully we can meet again, I would like to be friends with them. We do different kinds of magic, but I reckon it could be complementary. It's so weird to meet someone that's like me but not. Hopefully I'll be able to understand them more soon. And then the magician goes back into the confidants pile. Ooh, the 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords, okay. Oh my god. You are requested by someone old enough to remember the last witch who lived here. They don't have very long left. What final kindness do they ask of you? If you provide it, what does it cost you? And the suggestions it gives are burning question, dinner guest, sleeping potion, peaceful rest. Oh gosh. Oh, how sad. I think this is quite easy, this one actually, with a twist. I'm going to put waiting for sunshine. And I think it's quite simple, really. It's a short bit, but it has an impact on me. Aaliyah says that something has been left for me, a message. There is a elder community in one of the districts in town where folks who are more retired, they sort of look after themselves, and there's a little housing community there. And one of the elders there has lived a long life, but their time has come and they're old and the pain is getting quite worse. So they've asked me to go visit. I get all my things ready, and knowing how important it is to any sort of passing is, has to be treated with respect and grievance. And I'm a little worried because, again, this is my first time doing such a thing without the guiding hand of Foxglove. When I get there, the room itself is quite small, but the person in the bed, an older lady, wrinkles upon wrinkles upon wrinkles, her breathing quite shallow, and her eyes look to me, but not quite seeing. She asks, am I Mabel the Witch? And I introduce myself and I say, I hear you've asked me to call on you. And the lady, all she asks is that she knows that her time is up. She doesn't need sadness. She doesn't need tearful goodbyes or flowers. There will be no use to anyone. What she would love more than anything is to be able to see the sun rise again. She's not been able to see it for many years. And I'm a little bit taken aback by this because I feel like, oh gosh, I don't know. That's quite a big thing. And I gently asked for me to sort of inspect her eyes, and I can see, again, a life well lived. Her eyesight is not as good as it used to be. She talks about how she needed corrective lenses in glasses over and over, and they're pretty far gone. And I worry that I can't do it right. And I ask her to give me a little moment, and I think about it. And I know she doesn't have long left, I can see that. I say I will do my best, but I will admit I do not know how to restore sight. And I don't know if that is a thing I can do. But I will wait with you, and when the sunrise comes up, I can describe it to you, if that is something you wish. I too have not seen the sunrise here before. I stay with her that evening, and I listen to her talk about her life and her family and her career. She was a botanist, and she grew all these beautiful flowers and talked about the different symbols they mean and meanings. She asks me about my life, and I tell her all the stuff I've got up till now, and how I have these ambitions and dreams, and I am here to prove myself to Foxglove, to the rest of Gristhorpe, and to yourself, she says. And I feel quite seen in that moment, so to speak. When the time comes, I take her hand and I gently guide her out into the garden. And I get a chair that she can sit on. I wrap her up so tightly with blankets and stuff so she's not cold. And we sit and we wait, and I start by describing the stars and the different constellations and what I believe them to mean, whether or not I'm accurate or not. She chuckles a little at some of the pronunciations of the names. And as the night sky turns from blue to purple to pink to orange, I start to describe the motions of the sun slowly but surely peeking its head up, the outlines of buildings, We're on a hill of some sort, and there's a gentle sort of cawing of birds, of seagulls on the air. I'm holding her hand and describing all I can see. I think back to the feelings I felt when I was with the magician, with River, looking down, and I try and put that wonder and excitement into my descriptions. And when the sun finally rises, I turn and I see she's gone. I check her pulse and she is gone. And I feel sad. I feel sad that I couldn't fulfill this last request. I did the best I can. I hope it was enough. Today marks the passing of Petunia Glass, a resident of Meadowbrook District. Her request was to see the sunrise one final time, and even though I didn't have the skills of restorative magic in that way, I decided to give her my time and my presence and my own experience of that sunrise together. I stayed up with her all night to keep her company and then help guide her out to the garden when the time was right. She passed away peacefully. I didn't even notice. I was too invested on giving a good description. It was just me and her. It took so much out of me. Oh, I wish Foxglove was here. He would have done a much better job and would have known what to say and do. I just hope I did the right thing. After your last card in this volume, take a minute to pause. Rest for 1 minute and consider how life begins to wake up in spring and how births and blooms of the city resonate with your own journey. You then may write a new lesson that captures those feelings. Okay, let's do that. Ooh. It's interesting to have met the city in this particular chapter, this particular volume. And I'm thinking about like how there's lots of new beginnings here. You know, the idea of first love, the idea of meeting people properly for the first time. And I think my new lesson, I'm probably going to put it in care. And I think it's going to be, I understand how kindness is always the first step on a journey. I think that's the thing. I think all the things here is that showing kindness and showing patience, that's the key thing. So yeah, I understand that patience and kindness are always the first step on a journey. Now you're ready to write your third letter home to your mentor. Read the coda and choose 2 reflections using the answers in your letter. And then consider taking a break before turning the page. Okay, coda, so reputation. You're no longer introducing yourself all the time. People know there's a new witch in town. What kind of reception have you come to expect? Consider your initial welcome to Koriko. How many people have changed their mind about you, or do they seem to feel the same? And then the suggestions we have are friendly greetings, glancing down, little presents, fleeting frown. Nice, I like that. And then we've got reflections. We've got a couple here. We have training, uniform, lonely, small talk, fiction. Small talk keeps coming up in each of these things, and it's always like, write something about this. And then it goes, but what embarrassing thing do you not wish to reveal to Foxglove? So, I'm not sure about uniform, that people dress differently in Koriko. Nah, it's not that. I think training. I probably do training. You've spent a lot of effort trying to improve your talents. Which experience has taught you the most? What do you still need to work on? I don't like uniform. I feel lonely doesn't really work, 'cause I've met loads of people. Like, lonely says Koriko is full of life and noise, and yet it is easy to feel alone. What do you do to find a sense of community when you're feeling isolated? And there's small talk, which is about, what embarrassing mishap do you not wish to retell? Fiction. Make up something inspirational or cunning that you achieved during spring. What expectation are you trying to live up to? I think that's what I'll go for. I'll go for fiction for that reflection. So coda, reputation, with 2 reflections, which is going to be training and fiction. Hello, Foxglove. Greetings from Koriko. Oh, and probably Corin as well, I guess. I actually met the being who is the collective consciousness of the city. They are very cool. I hope you're well in Gristhorpe and the letter got to you okay. I actually had to hand deliver a letter myself, a big mission from Corin, and I had to do it with no address, so I can appreciate if the postmaster struggles to get this to the right person. I've settled in quite nicely now, thanks to Aaliyah and the folks around the tea shop. People know me on sight now, even if I'm not wearing my goggles or my crown of briars. Everyone seems to be in a rush most of the time, but at least they stop and ask how I am and genuinely seem pleased to see me. Well, or at least not cross with me if I do something wrong. I'm still getting used to people noticing me and calling upon me. You must be used to this all the time though. I've got back into my training full time now and studying because now I've moved into the loft. I have been doing my exercises each day and I feel that they're getting better. There's some improvement, but people seem to think that I can do stuff or fix things that is beyond anything that I could ever dream of. I guess this is what it feels like to be a doctor or herbalist, trying to diagnose a problem but can't necessarily solve it straight away with the best way. I've done my best though. I fixed the sweet treats blue plaque that I broke, and I did 2 send-off vigils, one for the temple that got closed down and for an elder who passed away. But I question whether I could have done more. I sometimes get choice paralysis. Sometimes I'm a bit, as loath to say, indecisive at times, and it leads to some awkward moments or interactions. I kind of wish I did know how to reverse time so I can have another go at the choices. Big thing though, I managed to fly all the way up to the cloud line on my own, just with my cloak. It was pretty scary, but I did do it, and I got a great view of the city and the surrounding land. It makes that little time trial thing we did back in Gristhorpe before I left so silly now and so small. So you needn't have worried, I can totally do stuff like this, and with great heights are no problem whatsoever. Even River, the magician, was impressed. I mean, that's how I got the letter to them. Anyway, much love, and I will write again soon. Mabel. What fortunes and adventures await Mabel in the magical city of Koriko? Find out next time on What Am I Rolling? The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's player was me, Fiona. This episode's RPG was Koriko, A Magical Year, written by Jack Harrison and published by Mousehole Press. You can find out more information about Koriko and grab your own copy on Mousehole Press's itch page. That's mouseholepress.itch.io/Koriko. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on social media. You can find us at WAIR_podcast for the latest news on upcoming episodes. All the various links are in this episode show notes, including a link to our Discord. And remember, adventurers need not apply.
In the universe of Star Wall Odyssey, space is made out of the collective imaginations of all the thinking beings who live on various planets. These worlds are connected to each other through imagination. Common themes and ideas are strings between universes. And to get between them, people fly wooden ships that look like animals, which are powered by emotions. Also, people communicate with each other by contemplating orbs. The only way you can take pictures is getting stared at by a big psychic bug. And people have already declared victory in a war over the very concept of evil. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Star Wall Odyssey follows the adventures of the hapless inhabitants of the Lucky Finn tenement building, who suddenly find that their apartment is actually a spaceship, and that they're lost in a sea of boundless imagination. It's an actual play starring me, James D'Amato, Mel D'Amato, Ali Grauer, and Drew Merzieski, as we playtest the No Kings system, which will hopefully one day be the Skyjacks role-playing system. It toes the line between weird and wonderful slice of life and high-flying space fantasy. You can sample the first 5 episodes by searching for Star Wall Odyssey on your favorite podcast app, or get the whole thing by heading to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and signing up for $5 a month or more.